idea whether you have a suprapubic now or you're waiting for one. Hi, I'm just Tricky. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about shaving and bathing with a suprapubic catheter. So obviously if you're new to having a suprapubic catheter or a urethral catheter, shaving and bathing may be a bit of a worry for you, which is totally normal, but it is actually a lot simpler than it sounds. So we're going to talk all about that in today's video. Points of shaving is that you feel comfortable doing it. Now, shaving is a pain in the arse whether you have a medical device or not. It isn't necessarily harder with a medical device, however you can be more anxious doing it for obvious reasons, especially if you have a catheter that the tube can easily be nicked, and obviously that would result in a tube change, which is what we're trying to avoid. I always find when you're starting out, the key thing to do is to move your suprapubic catheter out the way. If you have a urethral catheter, this would be obviously slightly different. For example, moving the catheter out the way eliminates the problem of it accidentally being nicked when you're shaving, whether you are a male or a female. So when it comes to shaving, what shaving stuff do I use? I only use Femfresh, and specifically I use the orange cap one. I found other Femfresh I was actually reacting to it, so I don't recommend them for obvious reasons. I am one person, like, it is just my experience. My word is definitely not gospel. However, I have been using Femfresh to wash and shave my SPC for over 2 years. It's literally the only thing I've used, so obviously I do have a good experience with it and I highly recommend it. I've briefly touched on Femfresh and products that you can and can't use in the Q&A, and I highly recommend you go and watch that. But in the name of not repeating myself, all I will say is Femfresh is definitely good whether you are a man or a woman. I highly recommend them, especially for shaving. I've never ever had an issue with my sight from Femfresh, so it's definitely a good one to try. When it comes to like using shaving creams and stuff, I really can't comment because I have never used them. Obviously I've only used Femfresh, so I can only comment on that. However, I'm sure there's people out there that do. I just wouldn't recommend it. Your sight can be very sensitive, so just keep that in mind. So bathing with a suprapubic catheter, so you can go in both the bath and in the shower. I know some people kind of think that you can't go in the bath. You can. You are more than welcome to get in a bath. The only thing I will say is when you first start out, whether you are new to having an SPC or you are years down the road but you've never had a bath, make it a little bit cooler than you would normally make it, especially if you first had, like, you've only just had your placement done. Definitely make it more lukewarm. You can build up the temperature. You don't have to have a lukewarm bath for the rest of your life. However, you obviously are reintroducing that sight and it can be a bit sensitive, so yeah, make it lukewarm. Another tip for the bath is do not introduce any sort of bubble bath, bath bombs, bath salts, anything into your bath when you first start having them again. At all. Nothing. It's a boring bath, but it's a safe bath. That's how you have to see it. I do know people that do introduce things into their bath. Personally, I don't have bubble bath and stuff in my bath. I think it is a recipe for disaster. However, you can build up a tolerance, so you're talking minute bits to begin with, and then eventually you will have a big bubble bath again. It is more than possible. I do find that if I introduce small amounts, that flows completely fine. There's no reaction, there's no skin breakdown, there's absolutely nothing change wise to myself. I do know people that introduced baby bath stuff. Now it's open for discussion if that makes a difference to their sight or not. I'm not them, so I can't really comment, but it's worth a try if you're really wanting to have a bubble bath, if it's that much of a big deal. Slowly introduce stuff, but when you first start out, when your site is freshly made, don't introduce stuff to your bath. It's crazy, like it's not that big of a deal. You can just build it up over time. So that is my tip for that. Nothing to begin with, build it up, small amounts over time. The thing with the bath, and I've seen people do this in different ways, however, they always say like their bath is not enjoyable. So a lot of people wear their leg bags in a bath. It might just be because I'm not a fan of leg bags, but no. I mean, I've done it, I've compared it to the way I do it, and I find it is a less enjoyable bath. So the way I do it is I use a night bag, drape the rest of the tube and the bag over the edge of the bath, and that will make your bath a lot more enjoyable. That can actually impact your bathing experience with suprapubic catheters. If your bath is too hot, you are going to spasm. Unfortunately, it's unavoidable in the sense of having like a lava bath. Like, you don't need it that hot. However, when you have a warm bath or just hot bath, don't really spasm. It can cause you to bypass if you make it too hot, so don't make it hot. Now, showering with an SPC, honestly, it's no different. I find it can make me feel the urgency part. It honestly depends how full my bag is when I get in the shower. So I highly recommend literally de-access the tube, put it up so this tube empties, not touching that and not touching that. Put it back. That gives you space for your pee to go in this tube while you're showering. Make sure that your bag is under 300 mils, just so it has more room, because obviously you do get a gas build. Your shower can be very enjoyable if you do the right thing. Another thing with a shower, especially when you're first starting out, you're going to be nervous because at the end of the day, it's a nerve-wracking thing. Use a catheter securement device just so like you have that extra bit of security and you're not having to worry about accidentally tugging your SPC or your urethral catheter. Urethral catheters are very different when it comes to how you do things, so I will talk about that more in a minute. But SPC wise, using a catheter securement device to just kind of attach it to your belly will make a big difference for you in your showering experience. Now, you can use other products on the rest of your body. You don't need to worry about any of that. You can still shampoo and conditioner because obviously it runs down your body. It will make no difference to your SPC site, so you don't need to worry about that at all. You don't need to change anything. Temperatures in the shower. Honestly, I have a very hot shower. It makes no difference. The water is not directly running on flow on my SPC site. Like, it's not close to it. It doesn't really matter. Anything I will say is, again, if you're nervous, definitely just secure your catheter because it's going to make a big difference for you. So everything that I've just spoke about, but in regards to urethral catheters, obviously it can be slightly different. So with a urethral catheter, I can't obviously show you how that would be. One, that would be really inappropriate. Two, like, I don't have one, so I can't show it. However, I can show flow on me. So obviously where it would be lower down, instead of taping up, you tape down. So when you're doing this portion of your private parts shaving, tape your urethral catheter, literally just medical tape that you can buy from Asda, Sainsbury's, anywhere. Tape it to your leg. Then when you're doing below your catheter, tape it up. Again, that side. And then when you're doing above it, tape it down. It will make more sense when you've got it in front of you. but you just slightly move your catheter, and honestly within time, when you've got a bit more confidence, you won't need to tape it, you just automatically move it. It's the same with an SPC, you're moving it slightly, you're not tugging. I mean, I'm definitely not going to tug. See how I held here? Because this is the actual tube, this is just the bag, so this has absolutely no feeling to it. This is obviously attached to my insides, so you gently move in it. Hold your actual tube, not your bag tube, because this, like, you've got no control over here, if that makes sense. There's no securement to here, and imagine not having your waistband. Obviously this would have tugged, so we're holding here and we're just moving slightly, we're not tugging. I can't make that any more clear. Do not tug your SPC or urethral catheter. Bathing with a urethral catheter, again, is slightly different, but it's the same concept. So with a bath, I mean, I had a urethral catheter, I've had several. I'm praying for you. No, I'm joking. I mean, I personally find an SPC a lot more easy to live with than a urethral catheter, so that's just my opinion. But when it comes to bathing, a urethral catheter, obviously, if you're a woman, it's below you when you're sitting, so you have to keep that in mind. But again, use a night bag, drape so much of the tube in the bath and drape the rest over. If you're finding that you've got urgency, lift this tube so it can drain down, because at the end of the day, if it's obstructed, so if it's sitting like that, it's going to struggle to get past this bit. So all we do is we make it easier, lift it, let that bit drain, put it back in the bath. That's it. Products with a urethral catheter, you are very likely to get thrush with a urethral catheter. In fact, I highly recommend going to Asda or even asking your GP for some thrush cream. It is not embarrassing, it is a very real thing when it comes to catheters. You even sometimes can get thrush with an SPC even though it's not down there. But ladies, it's important, it's just an irritation, that is it. It doesn't mean you're dirty, it doesn't mean anything like that. It is literally an irritation. If you have really bad thrush, I highly recommend going to a pharmacy, asking for some thrush cream. They normally will give you a tablet as well. Obviously, if you are on a lot of different medications, speak to your GP first. However, if you're only needing the cream, you can buy them from literal supermarkets. That is very simple. They can be a little bit pricey, but they are worth getting. Keeping that in mind, that you're more than likely to get thrush with a urethral catheter, limit the things that go into your bath. So bubble baths, all of that sort of thing, avoid it. It's not worth it. Again, build it up over time. Use definitely less harsh products, so more natural products if you can. Baby's products, even though they do have scents to them as well, they can cause thrush. Like, it's just, again, weighing up what's important. Again, you can use Femfresh to wash. You don't wash internally. No woman needs to wash internally. That's very bad for your pH balance. But if you're needing to wash outside, just to kind of keep up that hygiene, even though the vagina cleans itself, can we just say that? Use Femfresh, orange top lid. Highly recommend for catheters. So again, I think that's pretty much all of it. But a urethral catheter, everything is slightly different from an SPC. But an SPC, I personally think, even with bathing and shaving, that an SPC is easier. Again, I'm probably biased because I love my SPC. However, I found with a urethral catheter it'd be very difficult. I can't speak for men, unfortunately. I wish I could give you an experience, but I don't have a penis, so I can't. But again, use Femfresh if you're wanting to shave, especially if you've got an SPC. It makes no difference. If you're very worried about it, order it online. No one will know you brought it. No one needs to know you brought it. But it's very hard, for example, if you're using stuff like Lynx to wash around your SPC. I can imagine that would be quite painful. So just buy Femfresh. I'm not affiliated with FemFresh. They don't even know who I am. Literally no one does. But I'm just passing on my wisdom, the things that work for me, because at the end of the day, you know, like when you first have your SPC placed, like you're not given leaflets saying, oh, this is what we do and all of that sort of thing. At least I wasn't. There isn't a lot of information, so that's why I actually started my page. It was specifically for suprapubic catheter stuff and bits of urethral catheter, because I obviously do have experience with that. My YouTube will be slightly different soon, obviously with this upcoming ileostomy stuff. However, I am not going to stop talking about suprapubic catheters, so if you are here for that, please stick around. Like, you just obviously have to weave out what you want to hear and what you don't. However, all my videos connect in some sort of way. The thing is, like, it doesn't matter if you have a urethral catheter, suprapubic catheter, feeding tube, ileostomy, no matter what it is a massive adjustment in your life. I am very passionate about the fact that I believe that the chronically ill or those with life impacting conditions need to live amongst surviving. That is literally what my channel is about, living amongst surviving. And if I can pass on a tip that's maybe like, oh, this type of body wash doesn't impact my sight, it might not impact yours, you know, that's a good thing. Or even a tip like, do this in the bath, it might make your bathing experience more enjoyable again. You know, like, it's the little things, it's the living amongst surviving that we have to do. So this was my video about bathing and shaving with a suprapubic catheter and a urethral catheter. There's a couple of tips in there that I hope help someone. Yeah, so if you like this video, please do like it, because it does help me a lot. If you could subscribe, that I would really appreciate it. Obviously, I am human. Sometimes I do convince myself that these videos don't help anyone, so knowing that they do, you know, it gives me motivation to continue to make them. So if it helped you, please do like and subscribe. If you have any questions or any chats that you want to have, leave them in the comments below. If you want to see more from me, definitely check out my Instagram. I am more active on Instagram. We also do have a small business page, which is just Tricky Designs. I'll insert a couple of the clips from that. On my Instagram, I do have a lot of tips and tricks for SPC, chronic illness in general, and there is some urethral catheter tips in there as well. There's a lot of posts on how to deal with the mental health side of chronic illness, not to mention medical devices. I do lives 24/7, literally probably every evening. Or every other evening. In the lives, I do teach you how to do washouts. Obviously, those who are approved are welcome to come watch. If you're not approved but you're going to be, you're welcome to come watch. I do not recommend doing it if you're not approved. We ain't about that. But it's a good way for the community to come together and kind of learn about life with an SPC. I also have a lot of reels which show you how to use like your devices, storage, etc., which I will include a couple of the videos now. now, that's it from me. As always, think awareness, not attention, and I'll see you next time.